Gooners, football fans. Oh my goodness, do I have a second version of? No, I don't have a second YouTube. I heard an echo. I'm in a good mood today, people. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So now you see the light. You're gonna stand up for your right. Oh, you didn't know Shatta could sing. Well, that's powerful for you.
Shatta can sing.
Yeah, that didn't
Guys,
do the thing.
I spent this last couple days seeing the light and sharing with my fans on Twitter, and the PR merchants are mad. You know, I love this channel. I love you guys because we speak the truth that nobody wants to talk about. You, about Guendouzi is on the French national team. we threw away Emi Martinez. He's the goalkeeper of South America. Help Messi win his first title ever. We threw him on the trash heap. We sold him for 24 million. And 32-year-old Mesut Ozil is at Fenerbahce after he got the summer window under his belt. 3 appearances, 3 off the bench, 3 goals, 1 assist, and he's playing in Europe unlike Arsenal. But so everybody's thriving after they leave jail, and we are to be satisfied with 8th, which is the point, guys. Ehab, you've heard me ranting, and you've heard me writing on Twitter about this. And we have people saying, "Oh, Shatta, you should forget it, move on." Haven't you seen this, my friend?
No, they're gonna keep doing this. I mean, I'm okay with it if we don't repeat it, but we keep on repeating this crap. We keep on letting people go who we should keep. And I kind of see what Arteta and Edo are doing, but I'm not sure it's gonna work. Nobody knows if it's gonna work because we've let in people. I mean, this is a small stat. Do you know who leads the Premier League in tackles?
No. George, do
Joe
you?
Willock.
What?
Joe Willock.
So he's gotten out of jail and is thriving?
He plays for Newcastle and he leads the midfielders in tackles. 22 tackles as of yesterday. I don't know how much. And he's been attacking. He had more shots on goal than any of our midfielders. I mean, you have to keep your players. You have to improve them, and we keep throwing them away. And this means that we're just spending much more money than we're supposed to.
Well, Ehab, this is like gravity, You can't defy gravity. It catches up with you. Wasteful spending. So, George, they hate us for bringing these facts to the fore. They say, forget it. We are on a roll. 3 wins on bounce. We beat Spurs. Forget all about it. Arteta has a brilliant project and is culturally transforming the club. You and I talked about it day before yesterday. Can you believe this, George? When Guendouzi made the French national team after some little nothing, nobody said he's a troublemaker at Marseille. Come on, George, let me hear from you.
Well, what can you say? I mean, it's so predictable. Saliba, is he not doing well as well?
As well, he's probably going to make the French national team soon.
But on the other hand, people are right. They've gone.
Yep.
So to keep harking back and pointing at our perceived mistakes of them, it doesn't really get us anywhere. And people want to look forward. And to be fair, the Emperor, Congo, Ben White, Odegaard, Tavares, they're all doing all right. So we've just got to accept where we are. I know it's annoying when people talk shit, but my wife reminded me of something this morning.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You waste your time on Twitter arguing with idiots, and just because you can best an idiot doesn't mean you're not an idiot. You're just not quite." And she's quite correct. We're on Twitter. The only person the people that could beat you in an argument on Twitter aren't on Twitter.
Right.
And they're not posted on blogs. They're doing something more important in life. So because we can beat them in an argument and expose them as idiots, really doesn't say much for us. So it got to let these idiots just. I mean, why not be optimistic? My problem isn't that people are overly optimistic. They think the Emperor is going to be the greatest right back we've ever had, and Ben White's going to be tremendous, and Odegaard's going to be as good as Ozil, and Smith Rowe's going to be better than Fabregas. They can be as optimistic as they want about what's going forward, because that's speculation. What annoys me is when they look back with optimism, when they look back and say, we've done well, we're doing well, we're progressing well. No, the evidence is in. 8th, and 10th. We've done shit. Now, accept that and then say that, but looking forward, I think we'll be all right. They're entitled to look forward and think things will be fine. They're not entitled to look back and say things were fine. Do you see my difference?
I got you, George, and you know what? I'm going to move on very shortly. My main problem here, actually, is being lied and deceived to. You can't build an institution on lies and deception. That's my main problem. And we're supposed to be a club of values. And going forward, I'm telling you, George, these lies and deceptions are going to catch up with us. That's my concern. Not so much that we can bring these players back. They're not coming back. You understand what I'm saying, George?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't accept your premise.
You don't?
Because it'll only work against them when people realize that they were lies, and they won't realize the lies because they won't accept it, because they were part of the lying. All the big bloggers, they were committed to the lies. They were committed to the misconceptions. They created half of them, so they're never going to go, oh, we were wrong, we were lied to, because they were doing the lying.
Very profound, George. I see your point of view, and I'm agreeing with you. I tend to agree with you for some godforsaken reason, but that's very true. I really, in this case, I really do. But let's move on, guys. I think I punched that point enough. So it's Brighton tomorrow. Looking forward, and as I thought about this live stream, I picked up something that George said earlier this week. I don't know if it's within our DM group or online or publicly, but Arsenal has twice the talent of Brighton. I went and looked at transfer market. The market value of Brighton's team is €248 million, euros, I'm sorry, while Arsenal is €548 million. A €300 million difference. I mean, we went out and picked up Ben White from them for €58 million. Well, his market value. Not we didn't pay that amount. Odegaard, Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Lokongo, Tavares. €165 million we spent. They barely spent €57 million. Ehab. Surely George is right. We should be going down there expecting to win. We're not the underdogs by any stretch, even though they are 6th in the league and we are 10th.
Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to. I mean, it's Arsenal versus Brighton at the end of the day. But, I mean, our players do not realize that we are Arsenal. And the manager have improved the team every year. He's gotten better. Every time he's gotten new players, he's gotten mixed up. He had injuries, blah, blah, blah. But he still improved the team. Every year, the team played better somehow. And it's starting to show. Little by little, they are going to be they are gonna start gunning for Europe. They remind me of David Moyes at Everton.
Really?
He stayed there for 10 years. He improved every year. He lost to big clubs, to big teams a lot, but he's a very good team. They're a good team. There's nothing we can say about it. They have whoever they needed. They have the players that they need. They are trying to get in younger backups. Um, they are promoting players from the academy, and they're gonna continue this. This is a long-term project. This looks really good. I hope our team with Arteta does the same as they're doing, just improve over 3 or 4 years to get somewhere. I don't know. They are. I mean, but we are again. We are Arsenal. They are Brighton. We should be at least expecting to go there and win. Uh, at least snatch a point.
George, so do you agree with Ehab? They have Graham Potter since he came in. I think he's been there 2 seasons after the guy. Why am I forgetting his name? Of course, the black coach there, George. They went and they got, and he's improved the team over the past 2 years. And despite those improvements, George, we should be winning this game by a country mile. Well, if not quite. Your thoughts?
Yeah, they've got home advantage. That always counts for something when there's a crowd in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
But that shouldn't make them anything more than underdogs. We should be going there expecting to win. And, you'll see people over the next day or so bigging that team up, bigging the results up, bigging the position in the league up, so that if we win, we can say it's a great win because they're a really good team playing well. And if we lose, we can say it doesn't really matter because they're a great team playing well. All bases covered. When the reality is, they have average players playing above themselves, and we have good players playing below themselves. Now, explain to me what would justify that. What would be the excuse for that? I mean, it's only one thing, the manager. But
speaking of managers, George, you have been very, very happy, impressed with Graham Potter, and you have said it before, and everybody knows on his bandwagon. But since last year, you said this when you were considering alternatives to our current manager at Arsenal. So, what about the job he's done? What do you like about him?
Well, he's done a good job. They play attacking football, possession based, play out from the back. It's and with very average players. Pep Guardiola said that he's the best English manager in the league.
Really?
So there you go. That's an endorsement. Mind you, Pep Guardiola says Mikel Arteta's a genius. So you have to trust his fucking intelligence.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think he's done good. I think he's got, like I say, I think he gets his team overachieving. And that's what you want in a manager. That the team is greater than the sum of its parts.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, up to now, our team has been less than the sum of its parts. But that could all change. I don't think it will. But you have to accept that some people do. A lot of people do. And not only that, even those who don't accept that we can improve to that degree, we want to improve to that degree. Even the people who don't like Arteta, the majority of them want the system and him to succeed because it means that we'll succeed. It's not a personal thing against Arteta. It's based on results and what you can see in front of your eyes week in, week out. I mean, we've played 20 minutes of good football this season. The first 20 minutes against Spurs. Played great football out of 6 games. So, don't get carried away, chaps.
Well,
As
we
you
are,
would say,
George.
Shotter, hold your beer.
Yeah. There's an element of getting carried away, and the proof of the pudding is going to be going on the road against teams like Brighton, because Brighton is going to give us a fight. They play a 3-5-2. They've beaten teams, some good teams. They lost to Everton, which is a very good team. They beat Brentford. They beat Burnley 2-1. So they've had 4 wins. I'm trying to remember all the wins they've had. Ehab, what do you expect from Arsenal? And then before you go on to Brighton, are we going to play the same team against them, less Xhaka? Your opinion?
I think we have to. They've done good. I think now experimenting again with Pepe and Lacazette is not going to be a good idea. I think it's time that Arteta has got into his favorite 11, which is what we have seen against Spurs. He has to try with these 11. I know that I like Lacazette. He in a different system, I'd like to use him, but now if these 11 work with his system, he's got to keep banging on with these 11 and try to get somewhere. Bad thing is Shaka is out for 3 months, so he has to go with Lokongo, who has been a really good in midfield so far because he's pushing the ball forward and he's leaving. He's covering for anything else in midfield. But I think he has to stay with them. He has to. So we having problem with creating chances, and now we're looking a little bit more dangerous sometimes when we have the ball, and this is what we want to go for.
George, and what kind of 11 are you expecting from Arsenal? Are you agreeing with Ehab?
Yeah, absolutely. The same 11, but Lokongo comes in for Xhaka.
I think that is the consensus, and quite honestly, I'm not going to defy the consensus either. I don't see any reason to change a winning formula. So let's talk about Brighton, because that they are the team that is form team, if you may. 6 games, 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss.
Yeah.
They play a 3-5-2. The Bissouma is out. Ehab, I don't know if he's coming back in. What are you expecting from them? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, actually, Bissouma is coming back. He was almost ready for last game. Yeah. He's gonna be back. I expect from them what they do. They play with 3 at the back. There's something that people have to understand, that we always just because you start in a formation, it does not mean that you are going to play in that formation. You can attack in a different formation and defend in a different formation, and start in something that's totally not related. But because everybody is comfortable in this spot when nothing is happening. So I expect from them nowadays to control the midfield.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what they do, and this has been encouraged because what they do is they control areas, and this is something Arteta is missing. They have somebody for each area of the midfield to go to that area and take on that small rectangle of the pitch, just to outnumber people or try to work the skills, and they're like small mini like I'm gonna say mini tactics in each area of the pitch.
But
And
not to interrupt you, but I thought that was essentially what Arteta took from City. This system of each player having a space on the field. You're saying that he doesn't have that at Arsenal? We know that, of course, but go ahead, my friend. I thought, can you expound on that? And maybe when you finish expounding, bring your tactics board up. How come you're saying Arteta does not dominate the areas of the field. What is the difference here?
Yeah, actually, Arteta is crippled by having no basics, no fundamentals in coaching.
Really?
You know, things like, you know, like the ball is faster than the player. I mean, he doesn't even account for that. He has no idea. What he does is we get the ball somewhere, and he wants to conduct that area. This could be a whole different 1 hour episode to explain the differences, how they move. But if you go back and watch our football when Wenger was here, just don't look at the highlights. Just look at when somebody gets the ball, pause it, and count how many options there are around him. If you don't have enough options, let it run for 1 second and pause it again, and count how many people are in the area where the ball is. Now, players did not become faster, were not faster when Wenger was here, and now they became slower. This is not what happened. What happened that they were in a setup that allowed this to happen when you attack. So if you got the ball in the corner, you had four people appearing from nowhere within a second. You count 1001, you have four people around you. Okay, now this is because Wenger had fundamentals. He did not learn the game while playing football. Things did not just happen. He didn't have instructions, and things happened to him, and he had to explain it in his own head. This is what Arteta did. This is what most players do. They play within the game. They have limited instructions. They follow these instructions, and somehow it works, and they have no idea how it works. And this is what's happening to Arteta. And he had to go back, track back, and analyze these things. And you are never going to go to ground zero. You are never going to start at 100 and find everything to ground zero. And even if you go back to ground zero, which is the fundamentals, you are not going to be really strong with those fundamentals because
Ehab,
you are
Ehab,
at 100.
I'm
Yeah.
going to pause you there for a moment and ask George this. Because before you even bring your tactics board, he's saying, George, that Arteta lacks the fundamentals. And I'm sure this is going to be very controversial. People are going to say we are picking on him. Well, is Ehab onto something there? I never thought of it that way. I gather, though, what he's saying. If you look at a Wenger team in a flash, like in 1-2 seconds, there you have three people surrounding you, providing you with options. But is it because Arteta lacks coaching fundamentals? Do you agree with that?
No,
You don't.
no.
Give us your view before he goes on.
Ehab's quite right in what he's saying. What happened with Wenger and what happens with Arteta.
Mhm.
The difference is, Arteta believed that was the way to play. Arteta believes that staying in your own zone is the way to play.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's not that Arteta doesn't understand the fundamentals of the game. He just sees the fundamentals differently. Now, I think Arsenal's system was superior in every way and certainly aesthetically. But that doesn't mean that Arteta doesn't understand the fundamentals of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't accept that we should play the way Arsenal used to play.
In other words, a fluid people moving out of their zones. Correct, George?
Sorry?
People fluidly moving out of their zones.
Yeah, but what you've got to accept is that although Arsenal's system gave you one thing, it also left gaps in other areas of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Arteta's system doesn't leave the same number of gaps because everybody hasn't moved towards the ball to create overloads. Now, it's a question of belief. If Arteta genuinely believes that lack of space means the team is stronger, then that's what he has to do.
Mm-hmm.
He can't say he believes this, but I'm going to play like Arsene used to play, because he's seen flaws in that system and he wants to change it. Whether we agree with it or not, that's up to him. He'll live and die on his decisions. Up until now, 8th, 10th, he's dying on his decisions.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean to say it can't work. It probably won't work, in my opinion. But just to say it won't work, that's a bit silly for me.
Okay, well let's go back to Ehab. Ehab, this is the whole point of this show. This show is not one of these shows, that has an agenda, has an ideology. Okay, we try to understand the game, and at least and have a reasonable debate. So Ehab, he perhaps you want to flesh that, respond to that. But let's move on. We know that Arteta wants to control certain areas. He doesn't want to move the players out of their spaces. This is essentially what City does, by the way. But I don't want to go down there. You go ahead and tell us. Ehab.
This is what he does. Anyway, it's a long. This is gonna be a long episode if we're gonna explain.
No, don't make it too long.
Yeah, I didn't. What I said that he lacks. He understands the game, but the fundamentals of coaching or management the game is different. Uh, this is Pep's system to keep everybody in their position up until the final third, where you're allowed to cross. And this is, yeah, it's totally different. There are some fundamentals of the game, how you advance the ball, how you build the base in midfield, where do you place your defenders to start with, how do you control the numerical advantages in certain areas. Now this is it's in everything nowadays. It's in football, it's in basketball, it's in, like, we used to play basketball and the fundamentals used to be the most important thing in the game. Nowadays, the most important thing in the game is to shoot from 30 feet
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But-
and
yeah.
you hit threes, and that's it.
Ehab,
Things
so
change
what
with
do you? So Ehab, I don't want us to dwell on that. That's going in the weeds. What is your expectations of them, in terms of tactics? Do you say they won't?
Okay.
They're going to. Let's go back to what you said. They're going to try to control midfield with their five. What do you expect from them? Show us how you what and how will that affect Arsenal?
I'll share my screen just to see the tactics. I can't find my window. Hold on a second. Let me just.
The
look for
entire
the-
world is waiting on your tactics board, Ehab.
Yeah. I'm actually looking for it. It's not showing in my windows. Yeah, it's right here. But
You'll
let me
get it.
check why it's not loading on my yeah, there it is. Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'll add it to
You
the
can
stream.
shoot.
I'll add it now. Let's go. Tell
Yes.
us.
Yeah, this is how they're gonna start. Like it's a 5-2-3, a little bit close to what Tottenham does, but it's a little bit different.
I hope they leave us. I hope they leave all that space between the defense and midfield like Tottenham did on Sunday.
No, they don't do that because they play differently. What they do, what these people do is, and I'm gonna show it, and this is the problem that they're gonna face. We're gonna face. I'm gonna drag this team all the way back because I'm gonna use a little bit more space. What this team starts? They start in the 5-3-2. Now they have a left center back, which is this guy. His name is Byrne.
Yes.
And yeah, this guy is originally a left back, but they play him as a left center back, with Dunk being here and Duffy on the right side. Now, there's an interesting stat. Duffy has more shots and goals this year than Harry Kane and Cristiano Ronaldo.
You're lying.
Yeah, he is, but what they do is, and this is something that Potter has been, experimenting with all his life, which is the overlapping center backs, which I think Emre and Arteta should have done. What they do is they control midfield in a great way. I'm going to draw something here, which is called Uh, it's an area of the pitch which is they call the half space, and half space is this area right here,
You're gonna get
which is
Jules all. You're gonna get Jules online. He thinks that it's hipsters who talk about half space.
no. They talk about the people who talk about half space because it's just the corridor next to the flank. This is
Right.
it. Yeah, this is what I'm drawing right here. Okay. Now, what they usually do, what they used to do when they didn't have Bissouma, and what they started is this number 10 guy who's now Adam Lallana. I think he's gonna start tomorrow.
Oh yes, he
Uh,
looks like he's a part of the team now.
yeah, he used to use Daniel Gross, which is the German guy. Now, these two are going to come inside with Mopai, who's the biggest asshole in history. Um, the Brossard and McAllister are going to come in, and they are going to play as right and left forwards behind the main forward. And what they do is they move their cam to the half space. Okay. Uh,
You're talking about Bissouma.
yeah, which is Bissouma or Lallana, one of them.
Yes.
Now, the evolution of Bissouma allowed Bissouma to come on this side and Lallana to do it on the other side when they need to. So if you look at them, if you look down the middle, this is how they are set up. Okay. And this guy is going up front, which is Mopai, and they already have four people in midfield. They play a narrow midfield. So the further the final stop for this cam is the half space, and this is why I drew the half space. So when these people are going to stay in midfield, even if this guy comes to half space, Lallana is going to cover here, and you are going to get these people coming closer, and they still control the midfield. Okay, so the midfield is going to always be controlled by them, where they are going to have so many people in midfield, and that's why Lukongo and Party. I'm not very sure about them tomorrow. This
Okay,
means,
I'm going to let you hold it right there.
yeah,
What kind of
yeah.
threat, Ehab? What kind of threat does this represent to us? And I'm going to take I'm going to take the board off because I need you to explain that orally to us, and then I'll have George respond. What is the threat to us?
The threat to us is that if they control the midfield, we are not going to get the amount of precision we can. We are going to rely on counterattacks. Now we have done it well against Tottenham, but these people also are more organized than Tottenham. Tottenham need another 2 to 3 months to get the things together. These people have been doing this for 2 or 3 years. 3 years, I think.
2 years,
218,
2 years at least.
yeah, at least. So they know what they're doing. They are not going to allow you to counterattack them easily. They are going to trap you on the sides. They are going to defend you really well. Um I don't think Aubameyang is still a great player. I still believe Aubameyang would average 30 goals this year if he goes to City, but he doesn't feel like playing. He Against Tottenham, he felt like playing, and he played like Aubameyang, like he's capable of. I don't know if he's gonna come up against Brighton and do the same thing again because he doesn't believe in the whole system that's going on. He doesn't believe in the whole. He doesn't buy into it. So Aubameyang in his good day is the best striker we've had since Henry. So it's really depends on him to do the counterattacks. But he's going to be isolated a lot, and we are going to try to depend on these people. We are not going to attack midfield means it's going to be the same as what did against Burnley or the same we did against Brentford.
Wow.
We are not going to get the chances. We are not going to get the chances. We are going just to rely on counterattack, get a chance here and there. We have to be clinical and we have to be quick.
Well, George, I think there's something there. I mean, they're gonna control. I saw them against Crystal Palace a bit. I saw them in another game. No, it was a game last year. I think Ehab is right. You know, we're not going to have this space to counterattack, and Alba is going to be isolated. Do you agree with that, George?
I've no idea. I mean, you can look at it two ways. You say, look, because of their setup, they'll push us down the wings.
Yes.
Well, that's where we want to be anyway. So their setup might suit us. They push us onto the wings, and that's where Arteta wants to attack anyway. So that could suit us. You know, on the other hand, we could end up playing like we did early on in the season and not creating any chances. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, we're improving, and the status quo will be that we are better than them and we beat them. And everything else, I mean, if it was just down to tactics, you'd be able to predict the outcome of every game, and you can't. So let's hope that we all play, that we play well, that we don't miss Xhaka as much as I believe we're going to miss him over the next 3 months, and we get some results.
Well, George, Steve, thanks for checking in. Says we will win. It actually then says later, I'm waiting for the win, I guess. But Steve, George is optimistic that we'll win. I don't think we should. I don't think that we should go into this in over optimistic. Well, not counting the threat that Brighton has, but we have more than enough talent, and we know how they play. But that's the whole point, isn't it, George? And Ehab. The whole point of the scouts that go and watch them, the whole point of Arteta watching tapes is to see how they play and to have a setup that negates how they play. Right, Ehab? Isn't that what you used to do?
We know how we play. I mean, they are in the same league as us. The manager has been there for a couple of years. There has to be, we have to be ready for them, but we don't have the facilities for that. We don't have the right system to control midfield. We haven't controlled midfield since Wenger left, and it's not going to start against Brighton. We have, which is sad because we have one of the best anchors in the game today in Xhaka, and this in Twitter is blasphemous, but he's comparable to anybody, and we have spent how much, 80 million in midfield between Lokongo and Party and we sold with it.
Odegaard.
On Odegaard, yeah, how 80, 97 million, 98 million in midfield only. We have spent that much money, so we're supposed to be controlling midfield, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen because we play in shadow. Our lines are really far away from each other, so I don't see it. I don't see it. So if somebody who controls the midfield, it's not our game. We just have to let them go. We just let them do it.
Well, let me wrap this up. George, Ehab says the games will be decided in midfield. I think you both agree. But you seem to have a more optimistic outlook. What are your predictions?
2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 or 3-1?
2-1.
2-1. And you, Ehab?
I think 2-1 Arsenal is reasonable.
Despite your misgivings.
Yeah, but we have the players. They don't have anybody to stop Aubameyang. We have Emil Smith Rowe is doing great. Saka is they're amazing players. They are amazing players. I have no idea how people look at them and say we need transfers. We don't need transfers whatsoever. These players are as good as anybody we've ever had. And you have Chaka, you have Lokongo is doing really good. We've won silverware with Alex Song in the middle. and then he started, and we won two, and then he has two FA Cups and two Community Shields. So yeah,
Well, you
I
know,
mean, Ben White is 58.
okay, you're doing the narrative. You're taking away from George. So both of you are 2-1. I am going to stay out of the predictions. I'm going to wait until my boy Shard posts his preview. I hope sometime later today. But I'm going to play.
Okay.
I'm going to play the non-committed host and presenter. I think this game.
That's a good tactic, Shotter. You'll never be wrong, mate.
That's right. And I'll just jump on whatever bandwagon. I'm going to do a Twitter like. I think it'll be close.
After the event, that's what you thought would happen.
I think it'll be close, guys. Don't be surprised by a draw. I think it'll be close. But we should win. Steve I, 6 love. Come on, man. You're pissing off.
I don't know. That means we get beat 6-0.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. This has been interesting. I think the summary is that this game will be decided in midfield. And if we can take advantage of the spaces that they provide over the flanks, both Tommy and Tierney will be spamming in some crosses and we'll beat them 2-1. But if not, they will probably bring this thing onto the kind of game that they want, which is a slog in midfield, and it's a draw. So that's my opinion on that. Thank you very much, guys. We have gone on as long as we can. This has been very interesting. I hope the audience loves it. Remember to like and subscribe. Remember, we at Uncensored are going to tell you what we really think, not what the club wants us to say. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Right.